Hello, Internet! That was weird ending. We're kind of a bit stumped here.
Yeah, we had some great jokes about the episode, and then it's just kind of woomph.
Don't think we can. This is CJ Allen from Two Geeky Guys. I'm Nathan Squires from the Sci-Fi Fantasy Network, and you are watching... I think we're not gonna talk about the elephant in the room or the reek in the room to start off with. I think we're gonna go right back to the beginning because then we can kind of at least talk about something without being slightly traumatized. Aya. I think we're finally getting somewhere with Aya. You've mentioned before in the past that you think she's one of the best things in the show, and we've been shown some more about her.
She hasn't had much to work with recently. In the first few seasons, she's like really heavy on the acting, and she's really talented. And now we're starting to see more of her story develop. And about time. We're in episode 5 now?
No, is this
6?
Is this not
episode 6, and we're finally starting to get a bit more of the faceless, and literally faceless.
I think that set was
weird.
beautiful underneath. But I'll talk about the tweet later. But yeah, basically somebody was saying, how can they hide that underneath all of a city that's meant to be about lakes, like Venice, and they've got this kind of underwater tomb that's just so pristine and dry. But otherwise, the CGI on the actual scale of the place was class because...
And look, noticed how they went down the stairs and only went down like 10 steps, yet they seemed to be like 3 stories below where they originally were.
Yeah, no.
But then again, the magic, so maybe that's it.
Indeed. And no, it is episode 6. It is. So
we're nearly we're over halfway. Is it 10 episodes this season?
Is there 10 or is there only 9? No, there is 10. There is 10.
So we're over halfway, and it feels like the story's only now starting to develop, which is worrying because how much are they going to shove in these final 4 episodes?
It's either that or how much are they eking out, and we're once again going to be left kind of feeling, dwindled, swindled, and kind of not going anywhere. But Aya is actually getting somewhere, and she had that great bit with getting rid of Needle at the beginning, or hiding Needle, and then now we've got some development. I think that should, as you say, fingers crossed, just hurry on a bit.
And technically she got her first kill as an assassin, kind of.
What, with Needle ages ago?
No, and with the girl at the fountain.
Oh, with the poison.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like her first assassin kill.
Yeah, the faceless kill.
Yeah, this is going to cure you. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah, the dad's like, I don't think she's going to survive. Can you just help us out? Yeah, you have this lovely magic water. It's going to make you all better. Cut. The next thing you see is her just like, cleany, clean.
The Tyrion scenes had us in stitches.
Yeah.
By a certain merchant.
Everybody. Just the lines that they come out with is just ridiculous. But firstly, I must mention before we go to that bit, we see Peter Dinklage deliver the line, I killed my father. And he just absolutely nailed it. But Jorah's looking a bit weak for me. He's not looking too good.
We were saying there was no chemistry between them.
Yeah.
Fair enough, I know they kind of can't have chemistry. He's just kidnapped the guy. And there has to be some sort of off kind of thing.
But still, you could have that captor kind of, relationship that goes on, but they didn't. And then we get the delightful line of, the dwarf lives until we find a merchant. And that is just...
I think you're missing part of that.
Yes, there might be a specific word there, but...
And I searched online, and I couldn't find any for them, so I think he's going to be alive for a while. I really do.
Yeah, well, that's very true. They're going to keep searching for one of them, and they're not going to find one.
But what are the magical purposes? We were saying, is it played like a flute, and then it beckons dragons from the sky?
That is going to be the way that they either fly the dragons from Easteros over to Westeros, but... Maybe
that's what they're building to. That's how you win the Iron Throne.
Playing the magical
element, as it were.
So let's hear from you about Cersei in general. How did she kind of come across in this episode?
You can see where Joffrey got it from, to be honest. She seems to be getting worse. It's all about her. Game of Thrones is about her. It's like, right, how am I going to stay in power? You'd think after the amount of deaths and murders, I wouldn't want to be in charge.
Oh, no. you're right. Why doesn't she just go back to, where is it, Castle Rock? Just kind of go
Have
and
a
find
nice,
somewhere.
chilled
Yeah,
life.
exactly. Just get away from the politics.
She's lost all her kids. The person she loves is her brother, so you can't have him. Wouldn't you think, oh, screw it, let's run away to Castle Rock together and no one will say anything different?
And she's losing her power slowly but surely to the Spanish Inquisition. That is, what are they, the Sparrows?
Yeah. One bit, talking about Cersei scenes as well with Littlefinger, we're laughing about this as well. You've got all of these amazing names, Cersei, Tyrion, you know what I'm going to say here, don't
Yes.
you? Tyrion, Tyrion, and all of these amazing names, and then you have Uncle Kevin.
Kevin Lannister.
Of all the names. Jamie, Jamie
Yeah,
sounds
Jamie's
about
kind of
right.
modern,
But
contemporary.
then you have Uncle Kevin. Of all the names in all of Westeros, there's an Uncle
Kevin with son Jeff, just kind of Jeff Lannister.
And the mate Dave that brings round the dung. All right, Dave.
Dave the Dung Man. He had a day off there. He was just a bit like George R.R. He was a bit like.
But it's probably one of those competitions, was like win your name in my next book. And it's like the guy that wins is called Kevin, and he's like, how am I going to fit Kevin into this book?
It was definitely a Kickstarter perk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's trying. I've got this Game of Thrones idea. If you give us £10,000, your name will be in it. And then he's got Kevin, and he's like, damn it. Dawn. I'm a big fan of Dawn. I think the set design is just great, and Bronn. Oh, Bronn.
He says what people are thinking watching it.
He does. He keeps us. He keeps us in there, kind of just a little bit. The audience gets a little edgeway into kind of feeling like we're a part of it again with Bronn. And you thought he was going to die.
I was scared he was going to die, because I see him as the character that kind of draws us in more. Like, you've got these vast worlds, and then you've just got these characters, a bit like the Hound as well, which just say what you're thinking. And I was thinking, if they kill him, you've kind of lost the personality for that story. Because Jamie's kind of, I will get this, blah, blah, blah. But he's just kind of like, well, there you go. He's a weak one. It's just kind of that, it draws you in and
Bronn's the link to the audience. And that's what you need every now and then. You need a voice that kind of makes the audience feel like they're being heard. And I think I'm going to go to it now, and I'm going to miss a few bits and bobs. But I'm going to have to jump to Ramsay and the Starks, because it kind of connects right. And my annoyance with Game of Thrones being that as a TV program, we're kind of investing a lot of time and energy and effort and emotion into the likes of the Starks. And we have small characters like Bronn as we go through that we go, yes, I can relate to you and I'm going to invest some time in you. And whilst I believe that it's okay that as a book and I'm guessing all the people who read the books are going, yeah, don't worry, it either gets there, or this is a real look at what medieval times are like, and obviously not like. Have you heard about Snoop Dogg thinking it's actual history?
I hadn't heard about that, but I can actually believe that as well.
He apparently watches it as a...
Sat there for his munchies, yeah. I remember reading about that in school.
I remember them with the drawings of the dragons. I didn't know they were real. Anyway, no, I'm not saying it's real. My point is being his sort of his view on the politics and the way that society ran back in medieval times was just brutal. It clearly was brutal. But where it doesn't work is that as an audience, we're constantly investing. As a modern day audience, we kind of need things to be brought back around, given payoffs that we can feel that what we're watching has been worth the investment. Otherwise, we're just sat there feeling completely and utterly cheated. And the bit at the end, once again, just leaves us all feeling broken, just completely...
Well, we literally just sat there and we just didn't know what to say. We didn't even think we were going to be able to record this because the ending's just... How can you talk about that?
Yeah.
It's just...
And some might say it's going to get people talking, and that's good because it'll get people talking again. Maybe want to watch the next one. But is it just shock value? Is it just... You know?
I think the way they've filmed it as well, I think there could have been a lot more graphic.
No,
I think there could have been. For Game of Thrones, you do expect gore and graphic, and there has been more graphic scenes. I think even they've we have to handle the scene with a bit kind of more careful. And I think the way they did it where it's just Theon's face. I think that spoke more volume as us as a viewer, what we were kind of feeling and what was happening in the scene. I think that probably spoke more volume than showing some sort of vulgar physical act, which they could have and have done very similar in the past. But I think seeing Theon breaking was kind of the best way of maybe showing that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it is. I think the fact that the director and the editor have worked together in a very Hitchcock fashion. The music and the tone in the background
and the sound
was
effects.
full of dread, you know, and like you said, often using the sort of the imagination is often worse than seeing something. I think in some regards that's completely lies when it comes to Game of Thrones, because when we saw Oberyn's head explode, that was disgusting and many people couldn't sleep.
That is going to be the talking scene of this season. There's always one scene which everyone talks about, and unfortunately I think that is going to be the scene for this season.
So do we now think Ramsay is worse than Joffrey? You know, or is he just the new one?
I think Joffrey was like a young spoiled child wanting his own way. Maybe yes, he was a bit sick and twisted, but he didn't really kind of know he was. Whereas this guy know he is, and he's doing it to just be a horrible word I want to say that I won't. He, I think, has become one of the more sick, twisted people that anything's game for him. He has no moral... well, he probably has a moral compass, but he chooses not to follow it. Whereas Joffrey didn't really have a moral compass. It was, I want it this way. Well, look at his mother. Look at the way she went on. He's brought up to be that way. This guy knows what's right, knows what's wrong, and he's choosing to do the wrong way.
Yeah. And
it's a power trip.
And so we can probably hate him more for that. And going back to my argument, is that all we're going to be get given? Is hatred characters to hate? Or are we ever going to get sort of...
It's going to be funny because what you were saying, it was like Theon's opportunity for redemption. He could have saved her.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's going to be where it could end where Theon and Sansa, he reveals that your brothers are alive and they choose to go off and save them.
So what, save the brothers? So Sansa kind of puts up with it. She's kind of shown some sort of gall and guts by having a word with Miranda. So do you think eventually, you know, Theon gets up the courage and kind of...
I think this is going to be the tipping point for Theon. Well, I think in the episode today, he's referenced himself by his original name. And they're kind of talking to him as if he's still that person. Yeah. So now they've went from being Reek to keep bringing up his past. And I think bringing up his past is going to bring back to the person he was when he was underneath Ned. It's building to the point where there's going to be the battle at Winterfell.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I think I'm going to put my money on it now. Theon is going to kill him to save Sansa.
Yeah,
that's where my money's resting.
Okay, I like it. I like it a lot.
I don't have much money, but that's where my money's resting right now.
It'll be £1. So going to tweets that kind of I liked, and then I kind of stopped liking it when I got towards the end. It was going back to by Mark Doyle. How do you build a massive underground vault like that in Bravos, which is all lakes and islands? It's like Venice. And that was going to my point before. Fantasy world, you've got to just go. It's TV film. It's fantasy.
In all fairness, the guy can change his face. Structural engineering is believable. Changing your face.
Yeah, it's not Mission Impossible. They don't have one of those buildy things. Well, they've just chopped everybody's faces off, which is kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and kind of freaks me out.
Yeah.
Next one is by Rachel Paris. Oh man, Jorah's having a bad week, and yes, Stone Man, his dad's died,
and now he's off to the fighting pits.
On Jorah and Peter Dinklage, a guy, Tom Mann, says, why can no one just get to where they want to get without taking a series-long detour?
However, we kind of found the contradiction to that because Littlefinger got from A to B in the space of literally 2 minutes in episode time. Like everyone else is trying to get the Westeros. It's took them 4 seasons. In the next episode, you'll see him outside Daenerys' house knocking on the door. You haven't seen Tyrion anyone? No? All right, yes. And then he's back to Westeros. Daenerys is fine.
I'm going to pop to the wall. I'll just be in a second.
Yeah, John, your sister's alive. Come here.
And the last one is Alice Palace. I don't think even Peter Baelish himself knows whose side he's on or what he wants. Like you said before,
I think he's read the books up to a certain point and it's like he's not sure who's going to win, so he's just making sure he's friends with everyone.
He's just hedging his bets.
Yeah, he's like that kid at high school that's friends with everyone. And then whichever one wins, he'd be like, do you remember when I supported you?
Totally. That is exactly it. But he's manipulative. He's great. I think that's the kind of sort of underhandedness that we like. You know, he's a bad guy, a character that could go one way or the other, but we don't mind because it's kind of clever. Whereas the Ramsay side is just evil and...
He knew what was going to happen to Sansa.
Oh, God, probably. Yes. Yeah, otherwise, why would he have left her? I know he had to go down south to see Cersei, but you would have thought if he wanted to protect her, would he have left some people in charge? You know, these 2 people.
Well, we know what's going to happen next episode. There's going to be a candle lit at the top of the tower.
Do you think?
I think so. Well, after that night, she's definitely going to want to get away.
Brienne to the rescue. Oh, it'll all be like... Hey, buddy.
Theon's got Ramsay. We're placing the bet here. Who's going to get Ramsay?
So you're saying Theon's going to get Ramsay? Okay, I'm going to put Brienne to kill Ramsay.
And as an outside bet, his little bit outside.
What, Podrick?
No, the girl that's in love with Ramsay.
What?
She could be an outside bet.
Miranda's going to kill Ramsay because she can never have him.
Yeah.
Okay, a pound bet?
That's an outside bet, but I'm going Theon.
I'm going Brienne. A pound bet. Very good.
What are your thoughts? Who do you pick?
Yes.
Donate your pounds via no. But let us know in the comments. What do you think?
Who do you think is going to kill Ramsay? Is Ramsay going to die?
He's going to die.
Fingers crossed. Right, either way. CJ Allen, thank you very much for your time. I've been Nathan Squares with the Sci-Fi Fantasy Network. If you have thoughts on Thrones, just tweet about it. #ThoughtsOnThrones. Otherwise, we shall see you next week. Good night.